So thanks, Sheworks, for inviting us all as panel member and moderator for this session. Welcome to all the audience which is there and tuned in to listen to us for next 1.5 hour. The way we are planning next 60 to 90 minutes is I'll quickly get started with the introduction. I'll let my panel members introduce themselves, which is Esha, Sunil, and Charan from the various walks of life. They all bring varied experience and very insightful experience. So we'll be looking at their career journey and asking some prompted questions so that we know that what it takes to really create the diversity, inclusion, equity, and belongingness at workplace and in their personal walk of life. So that's the experience we are going to talk about, share across. So without further ado, let me get started. I am Hemant Kumar Ravi. I represent Infogain. I had people tech transformation analytics, total rewards, L&D, and leadership and campus hiring as part of my portfolio. So thanks for inviting me. Now, in this role, we have been going through a lot of turmoil. I'll say there are a lot of geopolitical situations that are working. There is erosion of our EBITDA profit, PAT profit making. There are challenges in the market. There's an AI infused. So there are a lot of geopolitical or pestle analysis that we talk about, political, economical, strategy, technology interventions that are happening. Amongst everything else, how diversity and inclusion is shaping up our workplace, and workforce is what we are going to contemplate and mull over next 1.5 hour. So I'll request Esha to you to come forward, introduce quickly yourself, and pass on the baton to Sunil sir. Then we have Charan here. So over to you, Esha.
Thank you. Thank you for the great intro, Hemant. And it's really a pleasure. Thanks, Sheworks, for inviting us and sharing, and giving the platform to share our thoughts. And it's a great group of panelists. And I'm really excited to be part of this panel. So, my name is Esha Ahuja. I lead HR services and payroll transformation and operational excellence for Kyndryl, which is an American multinational company. And I have about 25 years in HR where I have worked for organizations like Abbott, Bank of America, Walters Kluwer, and it's really been a transformation, and the pace of transformation has only been increasing. So I think we are poised for great times for future. And I think despite the things that are happening, the changes that are taking place, I do believe that the future is very, very exciting, and I'm really happy to be discussing these themes with my co-panelists today.
Thanks for the amazing insights and your introduction. Sunil, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Hemant. First of all, a very, very good morning to everyone, and thanks to Shework for making us part of this panel discussions today. So, Hemant, after graduating from IIT Roorkee, I worked in corporate for 4 years before becoming an entrepreneur in '93. So, obviously, that time no one knew about startup worlds, etc. So, it was very, very early. We started with hardware business, got into software in 2000. Then 2005, we got an exit. We sold our company to a Scottish company, Newell and Batch, which got very quickly acquired by Sopra within 2 months. So that was almost 21 years back now, and we were 100 people at that point of time. We organically grew it to 1,500, and then we had a merger with Steria in 2015. We became 5,000. We then grew the company to 7,000. Then I did a product company called Sopra Banking, which is now called SBS. For a couple of years, I was managing both these companies here in India. Now, currently, I manage the services business, which is Sopra Steria India, and we are spread across Noida, Chennai, Pune, and Bangalore with around 6,000 people. And
Okay.
thanks again. I'm happy to be here with you all.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for again, quite diversified and quite entrepreneurial journey. So we'll lean on more on you, how you created this diversity in the workforce. Uh, is Charan on the call by any chance? I'm not seeing his window. But Charan, if you're there, can you quickly introduce yourself?
It doesn't seem to be there, Hemant.
Okay, there must be some glitch. So we'll carry forward from here and we'll see when he chimes in and then we'll take his inputs. But leaning on you, Sunil. So I did BTech in 2005, an engineering background guy from Manipal, and then worked in or worked started journey with Airtel. Then I did MBA from IMT Ghaziabad in HR and IT. Intent was to be in IT and being the tech consultant. I was working predominantly into PeopleSoft and other applications, and HRMS SCM was something that was resonating with me. With that intent, did last 20 years of work across Wipro, Accenture, a bit of L&T in Middle East, and then came back to India. And we had this journey of GCCs coming in. So back in 2018, there was a 15 to 18, there was a BOT model that Accenture was doing for AB InBev. It's another Bush InBev, which is European plus US brewing company, and they were setting up their 2,000 odd folks in that landscape that they wanted GCC growth and analytics center. So basically, it was not pure play captive unit, but more of technology, more of consulting and analytics background. They wanted to set up the GCC. That was the advent back in 2018. Since then, last 7 years, it's been a last 10 years now. Okay, so 18 to last 9 to 10 years, it's been a really roller coaster ride. 6 7 GCCs have been able to clock. Post that was Kantar, it was ENY as the people practice that I had set up. Chevron, it's the world's fifth largest oil and gas company, and now here I'm at Infogain. The only thing that stuck with me during this journey was the power of the leaders. The more robust, more invested the ecosystem is, they're brewing more leaders like them, and the company benefits, and most often than not, the industry benefits. So Accenture, Wipro of the world has given a lot of leaders in the market. When I go to north side of India, I see SCL has given a lot of leaders there. And I was just having a candid conversation with Sunil before the start that couple of your folks are now leading our charter in our organization. So it's like, cross breeding the talent pool, and entire industry, moves up the value chain. In that context, my first question, and that is to you, Isha, that how do you see, what structural investments have been proven, which are proven mechanism, most effectively it has worked out in converting this digital workplace more diverse. So intent of measuring diversity is aligned with measuring the workforce outcome. So you have a business outcome and you want your workforce to achieve that. In that, how do you intertwine this diversity as a lens? What worked for you? What challenges you see in your last 20 years of vast experience across the companies?
So I think this is a great question because our pace of change and our pace of transformation is
I see bit of glitch, Isha, at your side.
with
Charan, have you been able to tune in? Isha, there's some network challenge. Just see. Once you are comfortable, then let us know.
I think it's okay
Charan,
now.
hi.
Friday
Am I
blues, I
audible
think.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We can. Go ahead, Isha.
Is this better?
Yeah. Proceed.
Yeah, I think my laptop is ready for the weekend.
Yeah, that's what this
Thank you.
patchwork and
So I
all the
think
IT team
definitely
pushes. Go ahead. No worries.
exactly. So I think over the course of time, our pace of change in our industry, in every industry, has really become vast, right? Technology is transforming everything that we touch. We are talking about creating structural systems or processes which are future fit, right? So when we talk about how do we enable diversity, and in this context, I want to put in a rider, is that when we talk about inclusion, we talk about every kind of inclusion, not just gender inclusion, but all the facets of inclusion, right? So it's very important that we understand that we don't make programs or processes for a set of people, right? Only a set of people. It's important that if our structures are made in a way that it enables inclusion, that's when the company is future fit, right? It's future ready. So, in that context, I do believe that when we talk about um, I would say I would put it in three buckets.
Again, I see a bit of glitch. Okay, we'll
Bucket
wait.
is about how.
There is some glitch, I mean,
Hi,
there's.
am I audible?
You're back. You're back. It's stable now, but just see if the network
Am
connection
I audible
is
now?
decent. Okay. No. Yes, yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Thank you. Sorry about this.
No, no, no
So,
worries because there are
so when
audience
we look
there,
at,
so I'm just
let's say
thinking
our,
that yeah, you might want to stabilize the internet because
yeah, I really apologize.
yeah.
Yeah,
Complete your
it's,
point and then
yeah.
yeah, we'll move.
Okay. Let's work on this. Yeah, thanks. So I think when we look at our policies and structures, they have to be built into a code. So we say that policy as a code, right? So our policy should not be made either with a bias or something which is manually tracking. So when I mean policies, I mean um, how are we looking at talent? How are we hiring talent? How are we looking at promotions? How are we looking at all our people practices like skills, learning path, talent development? If we can remove the biases and make the inclusion as a part of the policy and as a part of the system, so it gets governed naturally. So, for example, is there a structured set of, let's say, promotion policy, right? Does your promotion policy show you data that all the people are being represented and being covered? Is there a diverse slate? Is there a diverse promotion panel? So I think some of these structural interventions will help us ensure that we are future fit.
Perfect. Sunil, I'll lean on you. Thanks for your point, Isha. Charan, have you been able to log in and you can hear us? Charan, if you can unmute and speak, maybe. Okay, no worries. Sunil, I'll lean on you on this question. Give us something. So I understand HR will come from policy, framework, platform, people, but you look at it from the lens of leader, and you tell me how did that balance scorecard, and you come from business mindset. So how does your P&L, EBITDA, your future business account, contract value, turnover, that resonates with the diversity charter, and it has helped you. If you can quote us some anecdote from your personal walk of life, how it worked and shaped you, if you can share
Okay.
that.
Yeah, thanks, Hemant. And yeah, first of all, good to have the diversity within this panel because I think I'm the non-HR person within this. Secondly, I also worked, Hemant, with Wipro for 2 years, and
Oh,
initially our dealership was with Wipro. So just a bit of information. Okay, so I think this is something, Hemant, which has been very, very close to my heart, and it's been now almost close to 30 years where we've tried to bring some of these aspects into our business. Please feel free to interrupt me wherever if you think that I've gone beyond my time. I'll just extend from where Esha left. So first of all, I think the biggest commitment it needs to come from the leadership. I mean, you might have any types of policies, systems, things, etc., but it doesn't work unless you have the buy-in of the leadership and you have the buy-in of the board. So in our case, I think this is something which initially, I started driving it, and I'm using the word "I" very consciously in 2001, when I came across a profile where the person was my senior from college. She had worked as a head for an IT company, but because of her children, she wanted to work part time. And she approached me and she says, well, I'm okay for 4 hours, but would that work for the organization? And honestly, Hemant, I go more by ability than anything else. So I said, no, a person with this caliber should be able to come and work. Even if she's committing 4 hours, I know she will give 4 hours. And just to mention, Hemant, fast forward 24 years, she is still working with me. She works full time now. on the road, we definitely had challenges where sometimes she was not acceptable by certain teams where I had to intervene. And trust me, the kind of work she delivered, even a person with 8 hours of work possibly would not have been able to do it. So I think I went beyond those policies, beyond those systems, beyond something to make it happen. And the second case, again, that person joined me from TCS. This was in 2002. She again joined me part time for doing some work on mainframe. And once that project finished, then we didn't know what to do. But then she said, Sunil, I'm adaptable to any technology. She learned Java very quickly, but within few months, I had a requirement of a training head. And I asked her name is Shalini Mishra, that Shalini, would you be ready to handle L&D head? A lot of people told me, Sunil, it's not possible, why are you taking this risk? But I said, let me do it. And Shalini, in fact, with half time, she was able to really play this role well. I think she played this role till we were around 1,000 people, and she brought that business knowledge, she brought that technology knowledge, and I never asked her that. I just gave her objectives and work, and she delivered. I never cared whether she was working from home or what she was doing. But since I knew that she's a professional, if she commits something, she will do it. And I'm not giving other examples, but I've had three or four more like this where, so Shali still works with me after 23 years, and she's currently heading the digital offerings at a group level. So from a small role of a mainframe to an L&D head to technology, now she's heading a global role. So why I was giving this example was more from that, yes, if there's a buy-in from the top, if the top management believes in it, it can happen. Now, just to give, so this was trying to bring that inclusivity from a different perspective, but this is the biggest challenge I see in India, where at the fresher level, we have 50%, 40% women leadership coming in. But the moment you have come to that 10 years experience plus, 35-40% has gone, and at the top leadership we hardly have any women leaders. And that's not possible unless we give that special support in India, because in India that special support is required, whatever we may say, because we don't have the same type of support system as it exists globally. So in case if leaders are ready to provide that support, not compromising on the business aspect, I think the output, I've never measured Hemant, but I know, these people, the way they have delivered, I'm sure they delivered great value to the customer, because of which, in fact, they are now sought after in all sorts of projects. But I'll not go into the details of others, but what we've also done in the last few years is, for example, we went to Noida Dev Society and said that, okay, we will take four or five people from you and train them and get them into our system. In fact, I got a buy-in directly from my chairman, and he said, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. So that part, we took it more as a CSR part. We got our leaders sensitized on it. We got few people who were ready to learn the sign language. And these people then, after 6-7 months, obviously they could not be used for technology role, but today they are working in my admin team, they are working in my HR team, they are working on data entry, etc. And trust me, Hemant, if you come and look at them, you won't be able to identify that these people are lesser able with hearing and speech, and one person is working in finance. The last piece of it, on the inclusivity, what I also saw was there is a big chunk of people who are doing engineering or MCA, whose parents are maybe guards or gardeners, or they come from the lowest economic society. And these people do their engineering because their parents have taken loans, etc. But they're not able to get their first job because their communication is not good, or they don't have that necessary push. So what we did in a very informal way is, 15 years back, we said, let's take 3-4 people from this background, give them a 1-year internship where we have a person associated to do a technical mentorship, how the person should be dressing up, speaking, etc. And 1 year we'll pay him 10,000 rupees. After that, if he does well, we have the first right of refusal to hire him, and then he has to commit 3 years at our place. Just to give you very quick numbers, we've already done for 40 people. Many of them are working with us. Many of them are now working with even companies like American Express Bank, ThinkSys, and they are drawing salaries of 40-45 lakhs, which is unimaginable for people at this thing. So I think it's diversity plus inclusivity is a great topic. It's very important. But the bottom line is, it requires a top leadership buy-in. It requires a commitment. It requires that the leadership is ready to face those everyday challenges and questions they would get to support them, and then I'm sure it will be successful.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for great reflection. And just a time check. We are 20 minutes up, 40 minutes, and we'll have 4 or 5 questions. Pankaj is there in our moderation of the audience. So if any question comes, Pankaj, do let us know. We'll be happy to answer and get it through the panel member. Thanks, Charan. Charan Shetty is here, Director UBS Technologies. UBS Technologies. Please quickly go ahead and introduce yourself, Charan. I think there's a house full and all of us are well connected now, so the network glitch is kind of
Yeah.
taken care of. Go ahead, Charan.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, apologies for joining. I joined at 10:40, but thanks to technology interruption glitch, I was not able to join. But it also gives me joy that at least my systems are very strong in not, allowing certain things. So, but I joined via mobile. But thank you so much, Hemant. I think my name is Charan. I head the HR for UPS India Technology Center. We are a GCC. We are part of UPS United Parcel Service Group, which is the world's largest logistic company. We are Fortune 25 kind of group. So we have GCC in Chennai, where we have about 2,000 odd people, developers mostly, and we are about 2.5 years old in the when we started it. So that's a quick update from my side.
Perfect. Thank you. What one thing or one mantra you would like to share when it comes to diversity, inclusion? And I've been privileged to work in Chennai, at least Nungambakam, Randstad I was working, and
Yeah,
Thiruvanmiyur, Casa Grande I was heading HR. So I have
yeah.
been across north and south. So something, so diversity I've been hearing, and I'll reflect on Esha. It's not only about gender, caste, creed, community. It is also mindset. It is also the diaspora you come from in terms of demographic. Dividend, like say someone is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 city, someone's p parity is different. My parents used to work back in 80s in coal India. I used to come from Ranchi and Singrauli of the place. No one knew till they knew Dhoni. So yeah, so what one mantra you'd like to share when it comes to diversity at workplace and how it has worked for you as a leader, as a person?
Yeah, I think we have moved a long way on that particular angle. But still, I notice some of the organization that we interact is that it's still on the paper. It's just a tick mark that I have X percentage of people on diversity. I think that mindset has to change. It cannot be a tick mark on the paper and we claim success that we have done that. I think that's the mindset change we need to do. It needs to be a practice that we have to do well. In fact, when we started this center about 2.5 years back, we are very, very clear that what is that we need to on a diversity angle. And for us, diversity is just not hiring women or leaders or women managers. It's all about how do we have inclusivity coming in. So when my 6-7 months of operations, when we took a stock, we were about sub 20% on the hiring. But then when we closed last year with about 2,000 hiring that we did in 2 years' time, which is well ahead of 1 year before we hired 2,000 people. We really scaled up this up to about 34% of women in our system. But surprisingly, we also wanted to have people at the leadership levels, and that's where sometimes we struggle to find a good set of people internally also. While we saw that people are very happy to join us on that particular front, sometimes we felt that some of the women folks here are very very content to stay where they are. They don't want to go beyond certain things. They said, I'm happy here, I'm happy about handling these kind of a work. That's the kind of mindset we also need to change from their side. But from our side, we are very conscious that how do we bring people just not on the mid-level kind of things. We also need to have a nice number of women leaders at the top as well, and that's a very conscious effort they're doing now. Um, for us on the UPL board, I am also on the board member of ULPL in India. So it's equally distributed. We have out of 7 board of directors, 3 of them are women leaders here. So that also gives us affirmations that we don't have, or we don't need to have diversity only in the mid. We also have diversity on the top. So that gives a nice, good feeling that we don't just say, but we also practice what we preach.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. That connects the dot to my next question, and that reminds me of one perfect slogan used to be there in Accenture days. If diversity is invited to a party, inclusion is supposed to make them dance. and that resonates with me because you can hire people from diverse background, but if there's a culture not being built of inclusiveness, of belongingness, that I have my different approach or thought process and I'm still invited, till then it doesn't really create that synergy that you would like to create at the workplace. So question there, and I'll read the question. In high technology and high growth organizations and environment, how do leaders ensure that women receive both opportunity and recognition for strategic contribution? And this I'll request Charan you to answer to get started with. But think from this perspective that you rightly told, you start the early career program, you can have 50-70% women hiring as a BTech or any kind of program that we are hiring from campus. There's a firm focus there. The moment they move up the value chain at around 8 to 10 years work ex, they have to take care of aging parents. The kids are happening. The spouse might be traveling across places, so either you have to drop the job or shift to that particular country or the state that they are moving on to. Amidst all this, the mid management, the moment you come, you'll be around 20-25% gender mix, and I'm focusing right now on gender mix. The moment you go to top of the value curve, executive leadership, top management cadre, it is 7 to 8%, and it's a significant dip. So in that thing, how do you ensure there's an ecosystem wherein women get recognized and they get the kind of appreciation or the opportunity uh, in the current company or past company? What has been the best practice or some initiative that you can talk about? I'll park my answers to the last, but open to hear from all of you, starting with Charan.
Yeah. So first of all, you have to be an equal opportunity employer. You can't define this role which can be done only by a man or a woman. Anything can be done by anybody. So first of all, if you are very clear that it's an equal opportunity, anybody can apply. I think first step is done. But also the fact that you also need to nudge some of the leaders that who are capable to do this, to apply for that particular role and get going. Because you need to create opportunity in some of the cases. As I said earlier, some of the um, women folks are brilliant people. They are multitasking. It's on the back of the hand. They do a lot of things, but then you need to nudge them. Sometimes that nudge is required from the leaders, and that is where I think as leaders we need to understand the potential that these guys will have and nudge them. And then when you nudge them, you should also, it's not about hiring, just about hiring them, it's also giving opportunity. It is also including in some of the key projects, some of the key hiring decisions that you make, that you have to make them very inclusive. You can't just hire them and say, yeah, you're a good person, you're doing excellent, well, a job excellently, and just stop with that. How do you include them in some of the critical decision making in your organization? I think that will make them a little more inclusive. That will make them even more good feeling that yeah, I am part of a larger group of leadership team. I am taking call along with the leaders, and that's something that you need to do. So you have to create a visibility platform for me. It's not about just telling them, I support inclusivity, I support diversity, but how do you give them opportunity? How do you make them visible to other people, and just not within your organizations, with also to outside your organization? For example, we operate in about 220 countries. Some of the headquarters, how do you make people visible to them? So people in, let's say, in other places like US where you are headquartered, they know that somebody like this in your place, who can really come up the ladder, who can really do justice to the particular role. So you have to, the push has to be from your side, and of course when they come to that side, you still have to mentor them, you have to guide them, but they're also very smart. They know what to do. You just need to tell them, and also empowering them is, it's also very critical for everything, right? You can't bring them on board and then you dictate what you wanted them to do. That's again, it's not going to work, and then they're not going to do anything. They're just going to go back and say, yeah, when they take a call, why, what is my decisions on those fronts? So give them opportunity, making them visible, and empowering them. I think these are the things that you should be very, very clear if you want some of these people to, women, to really come up.
Thank you. Coming to Esha, you and Sunil, give me specific examples of programs that you all have been able to run in your respective organizations or previous organization, wherein there was special focus to allow women to come forward, showcase their talent, give them opportunity, allow them to push them. Like typically I have seen the networking skill. They don't want to get like knowing the people outside the company. And I have my wife who is working in like say Cisco for 15 years, IBM for last 5 years, cloud networking. My BTech friend, I keep pushing her. Make your LinkedIn profile awesome, start having bit of thought leadership in the industry. In HR, I see a lot of my leaders who have done that fantabulously. But how do you create platform opportunities and these folks are able to contribute in the most meaningful manner? So it's like, Hanuman, you have to tell that person that, you have these kind of, amazing skills that you have to, go ahead and use it. So they forget or they tend to be a bit of shy. So how do you folks have been make it able to make it happen in your respective organizations? Some examples. Esha, you
So,
can go next.
Sunil, you want me to? Okay, sure. So I think I'll start with an example. Being in India, usually whenever I've been part of the board meetings, I am the only lady, and or I have one more lady in the boardroom or the leadership meeting. Okay. In one organization where I joined, it was truly 50-50. And I'm saying 50-50 across the levels. It was not just, you know, 5 to 10% on top. It was genuinely 50-50. So I sat back and I looked at what are some of the things that are happening and what can we do to get there, right? Like if I look at this screen also, it's one fourth, three fourth, right? It's great, but it is what it is. So I think couple of things, and I can also say it from a woman's lens, right? When I look at diversity, so one is, we spoke about early career hiring, right? We have a lot of women and the early careers, we onboard them. And then in 2 to 3 years time, we start seeing the fallout, right? Slowly they drop off. Either they get married in a different city or a different country, they relocate, or they try, and then comes the children, then comes the children's board exams, then comes the aging parents and elder care. So these are all commitments. So I think at every life stage, what at least I've tried to do is three things. One is giving giving that support mechanism. Support mechanism, by what I mean is a very simple crash facility, a very simple work from home flexibility, a very simple commitment to choose the shift, right? When can you work? So some of that flexibility and the ability to pull them into the mainstream, that is really showcased. The second part is, I think, I call it ramp on programs. Okay, people who take a break, or people who go out of the workforce, maybe who are doing something different and want to come back, what is the ramp that we give to come on board? So for example, and it's a very personal thing. I'll give you an example in technology. All of you know how fast technology is moving. Imagine a woman or anyone who has taken a 2 year career break and has been doing something different. When they want to come back to the workforce, the technology has moved on. So they feel not very relevant. And that impacts the confidence. So even if they have the confidence, even if they have they may not have the relevant skill. So can the ramp on programs enable the people to get that right skill so that they feel confident to come back?
Makes sense.
So
Makes sense. Thanks a lot.
that's the
Yeah.
second part. And just the third part I want to take about leadership. In leadership, to have a woman in the leadership, I believe what has worked and the programs that I have set up is transition coaching. I call it transition coaching. So Charan said they need a nudge, right? So
Yeah.
that nudge comes from the coach, where you have to give them the nudge that you have to move from the, they know it subconsciously, but they don't want to step out of it or go above it. So coming up from middle to senior, that nudge is what a structured coach has built, where they, and sponsorship, of course, not mentoring, not giving advice, but actually sponsoring, the right people to get into the right leadership roles.
Perfect. Awesome. Sunil sir, some thoughts from your side.
Yeah.
What actually, practical that, people who are there in the audience, either as an employee, they can imbibe it, or as an HR folks like us, we can replicate that in our company. Some examples.
Yeah, thanks, Hemant. So I'll come back to the topic which you said because that was very important on networking. But before that, yeah, there has been times when 60% of my direct reportees were women. So,
Wow.
sometimes, so it was not by design, to be honest with you, it just happened. But it does, show back to the levels below that, yes, whatever we are saying, we're doing it. But a couple of things, giving examples which you asked for. So, first of all, very early in our corporate, we created something which we call it as World of Women, and this is where all the women employees can be members of this club. And the primary objective of this club was to get them together periodically so that they could discuss issues, challenges, and also have leaders from outside to come help them, mentor them, etc. So that was one piece which was done. But in addition to this, we run a program which is still run, which is called Sarthi. So Sarthi is for the first time women leaders, which is when they move from a technical lead to a project leader or a project manager. This is a 1 year program which we run for all the women leaders, and all the top women leaders in the organization are mentors to these people. So at any point of time, this cohort is of around 15 to 20 women leaders, which is there. And this has worked quite well because they hear stories like Esha was mentioning about the challenges which people face. So here there are real life examples of people who have spent 15, 20, 25 years in the industry. They can come and talk how they navigated this. Obviously, how people navigate is very different from one to the other. Now, addition to these programs which we run, what we've also done is we've encouraged our women leaders to participate in industry-wide programs. Like, for example, NASSCOM runs this program called Women in Technology, W2RT programs. So every year we have nominated 3 to 4 people as part of this program so that they also get to network with external women leaders. And then there is this program, Hemant, I'm sure you've heard of Jombe, which they have this top 1,000 women leaders program. And for the last 7, 8 years, we've been nominating our women leaders to that. And they have a very, very structured way of evaluating, then coaching, mentoring, etc. So we've had 2 or 3 of our leaders, coming in the top 100. One of them came in top 10. So these people, then women leaders become actually role models for others. But just to come back to the topic of networking, which you said, and I 100% agree with you, that's something which is very, very key, which obviously I see this lacking even on our men leaders, but women leaders, it's even more because of different reasons they are shy. And this is, as part of our Sarthi program, this is one module which we actually take, and twice actually I have taken the module for our women leaders and how they should go about networking, which is really key and important. So I
Thanks,
hope
sir.
that answers that.
Yeah, it was
In
quite bang
fact,
on. Thanks a lot.
Hemant, here we have two or one exclusive program for women folks. We call it Own the Stage.
Perfect.
Where we sort of pick up some of the hypos, some of the women leaders we have. Sometimes they are very good in work, absolute no doubt of. But when it comes to public speaking, some of them are a little shy, as Isha was saying. They just like to be in background, do the work, and carry on, and they're very content with that. So these programs designed for them to open up, and then and there's visible changes that we see after this program. And the initial first day, very silent. They don't open up; they're very quiet. But at the end of the program, it's there's a nice good transformation that we see, that when and sometimes I wonder, is it the same person I saw about 3 days back? So the facilitator does a very good job on that particular front. And then they were very confidently, they build up confidence, saying that, yeah, I can also speak well without any kind of an inhibitions of what people think about me. I think These programs really helped us in some of bringing some of the women leaders behaviors in terms of opening up and communicating well. And then we also have, of course, the other well-known things, the Toastmasters that we have. So we have also have a Toastmaster club here, and then we encourage people to join and be a part of it, and that also gives them a very nice, good opportunity to speak up well in some of the forums. And of course, as Sunil and Isha said, we encourage people to be part of any kind of a forums, and we really do again nudge them to be there and be do really good networking and meet people at their levels and their colleagues and peers and do a lot of networking.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
Hemant,
just
just to
summarize
add
that.
to what Charan said, just 1 minute. I'll just take a minute there. I think Charan brought out a lot of very important points, and that's where few times what I've done is whenever suppose I've been called on a panel, I've requested my woman leader to be part of the panel, and I said I'll be there in the audience to kind of help you to see that how you can speak well, etc. And I'm not naming, but I have two women leaders. It took me almost a year, but today I'm very happy that without any support from me, now they're able to perform at global level. So sometimes you require that extra extended hand and support to nudge them and bring them forward.
Yeah, yeah. So I was about to come there. So at least I've been privileged to work in 8, 9 companies over last 19 years, and that's where I bring a lot of diversity of what has been happening in different companies. In Accenture, typically, we used to have men as gender advocate. So they will be the one who will be positioning in boardroom and other meeting that this is the leader which is there in my team, or may not be the leader, team lead as at this point of time, but she has potential. And I'm not talking about high performing candidate only. I'm talking about high potential, which is learning agility plus ambition plus the will to do more in life. I see the fire under the belly, and this person we should bet on. So even we have had a concept of people bet, and they will choose these people basis the intelligence of these leaders. And these leaders were global leaders, so they will be picking up them, putting across cross geo projects, assignments, bubble assignments, and then these people will slowly, inch by inch, day by day, they will improvise. And the after a year or month, you'll see a drastic leader who is coming forward, able to question the status quo, critical thinking. These are the skill sets that gets developed. On
Yeah,
networking side, we used to
interesting.
have something like Grasshopper event used to be there. IBM does that thing. Accenture used to participate, and like the way you said, Shanta Maheshwari was one of my leader who with whom I was driving persons with disability, LGBTIQ plus women gender diversity. So there are a lot of initiatives were there. One point that I resonate with Esha, there was concept of returning mothers program. So they will have a sabbatical or a mat leave period and then extended maternity leave. So virtually they will lose 9 months of what has trended in the market in terms of skill, technology, and other landscape that has changed drastically. You will be pulled back into the same project with the status quo of your skill, and you'll be given 3 months time to upskill, cross skill yourself, hone your skill. You'll be given a buddy and assignment, and those buddies will be the senior women HR leader. So we were using both men as gender advocate and female leaders, and this has worked well in those companies. There was concept of mentorship. Right now, I teach at a lot of couple of IIMs and a lot of colleges. I see a lot of female students who are coming from tier two, tier three. Like say Puttaparthi is a place outskirt of Bangalore. It's in Andhra, but there I went, and there were fab women, students. They all had been able to question status quo that this is sir what is happening in AI transformation in HR use cases. I interviewed 20, 30 of them while we go typically for HR conclave, but we spend time understanding their pitch, their deck, and then I said two of these folks I would like to stay invested in. Let me see their journey in their second year, third year of BTech or MBA program, and if I can give them some internship, some project. So we had a concept of Catalant, and Catalant was gig economy or liquid work assignment concept within the company. So you have 4 hour of work, 20 hour of work. You want to try something, quickly get a field project from these women leaders from the market, and then that's how we build the community of practice. So
Yeah.
and there are
In
two.
fact, interesting that you brought up that Men Ally program. In fact,
Yeah.
here we have BRGs. Two BRGs that we call as WE, which is Women in Engineering, and then we have WLD, which is Women Leadership Development BRG. Both these BRGs have just not the women. We also have men being a part of that BRG group and being an ally for the women. That's one. The second one is that we also have a running program. It's a returnship program, career break returnship program. Again, when I joined in 2024, I think we had only just about one person who utilized that program. And then we said that why are we not taking this forward? So then we popularized the program, had some people doing evangelist program thing for us. Happy to say that we are about 60 people who had a career break just before they joined UPS, and it varies from 6 months to 2 years. And we even had somebody who had a career break of 9 years in IT, a lady. Uh, and then today, out of 60 people, 40 of them are women, and interesting, 20 of them are men. Who had a break for every reason, taking of the parents, some issues at home, or maybe the job, they lost a job. So that program is pretty successful, and we give very high leverage for that particular program. So we call it Palam. Palam in Tamil knows is a bridge. So we are sort of a bridge for people who wants to come back from the career break and get into a corporate setup. The third and final thing I want to just touch upon is that when we go for campuses, we also very keenly look for first graduate hiring. When we say first graduate hiring, they are the first graduates in their entire family, and we give more emphasis on that particular path. And we don't pick people from colleges in tier one. We go to tier two, tier three colleges, meet people there. And there, interesting, this year we picked about 60% of them were girls who are the first graduate in their family, engineering graduates, and we gave them preference to pick them and bring them on board. And then we also told them that uh, we participate in a lot of our programs, we run it. So they're part of my BRG, they're part of my events, they're part of my networking events, all those things. And one of them have also featured in a government program, and they released a dossier, and she was featuring that particular dossier as one of the key things. So that's a proud moment for us when we have some of these programs and we have people really participating and doing our bit as leaders, where we can encourage the women folks to be on this particular lines.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Three great questions have come from audience. I wanted to pick them up quickly so that we keep the audience engaged. The one that really resonated with me, with like say Isha, you look at 20 years younger version of you. What is that one advice, one room conversation or opportunity that you would wish someone had told you or given you access to earlier in your career, so that you could have done things differently? I'm sure you have a fab career path, but if something that you want to give advice to your 20 years younger version of you as a female leader.
Great question, and I,
Yes,
I
I just.
can I can talk from the perspective of being a woman as well, right? A woman
Yeah,
professional who has had an intense career. So the first thing is that I always say tough bosses are good. There are
yeah,
bosses who put you in the water and say that they don't protect you because you're a woman. They push you to the difficult project. Sometimes when you are younger, you may have other priorities. You have to do a lot of work life balancing, but there are bosses who push you. I think seek out those bosses. Seek out the bosses who are tough. Seek out the roles which are uncomfortable. The second thing that I would like to, when I look back, I would like to think about is, this question says, the audience question says, what is the one conversation or opportunity you wish somebody would have given you? Okay. Don't wait for people to give you something. Get the confidence to ask for it. So the one thing that I would have taught myself is that, I think like many women, I wait for someone to give me something. That someone up there will notice my potential, notice my talent, and give me an opportunity. We as a woman have to learn to have those discussions proactively. We have to ask. that we want to do this. What is the one thing that I need to learn if I want to become a leader tomorrow? What is the one training program I should do to get into the next role? Right? So we have to learn to ask and not be told, or not wait that somebody somewhere will find us. And lastly, I would like to say that it's very important uh, to understand as a woman that you will always have multiple responsibilities, and there is no shame in asking for help. Okay, at work and at home, because many women, they believe that they have to take a back seat because they have to manage so many responsibilities as a family member, wife, daughter-in-law, mother, professional. So somewhere they will quietly not ask for help and try to do everything. So my last learning is that it takes a village to make a child grow. Similarly, it takes a village to make a woman leader or woman professional successful. So don't feel shy, ask for help. It's okay to ask your mother or mother-in-law to take care. It's okay to have help at home. It's okay to balance, to ask for flexible shift. So that's very important, and not feel guilty about it, right?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Uh,
Am I audible?
okay, just to yeah, you're audible. I think 3 point key takeaway point that I see. It's better to ask a question and ask for help and get a no than not asking and anticipating. I wish I had asked and I would have got the help. Second thing, be courageous, be bold. No one is going to come and give you the magic wand and solve the problem for you. So you have to take the lead and solve for yourself. Okay. Third, create your self-help group. There are team who will support you in various walks of life. There has to be a mentor, there has to be a buddy, there is someone back home to back it up. I think that's what has worked for a lot of us. It is common to everyone. I don't think only women, but women, the uniqueness that comes is for every drop of hat, you'll have a chance that you can take a back seat and leave the workforce. But you have to have that one reason that you have to stay into the workforce because you want to make yourself proud and be resilient and uh, steer through that particular tough walk of life. That 8 years of juncture typically, or that 15 year of work ex kind of juncture. Keep building on it. We need more women leaders in the economy to make India economy really keep booming. So I am personally invested. I think a lot of us leaders have been doing this in our walk of life. So ask us question, make use of these platforms. I think the world is there to support and help the way Esha told. One question which was really, I don't see that as a question, but more of a taunt, more of a, I totally agree to that question. So the question says, we talk about all these things, investing in women, International Women's Day, at this point of time, typically around 8th March onwards, you do give the bouquet, you give the flower, all those things you do, chocolate and all, and then things fade away. By the time 31st March end, I I will not say no. There are industries, there are companies who does this because that's the time. You'll have an international calendar. You'll have those 10 events that has to happen in the year. They will do as an HR, as a business, as a company. Don't name shame them or whatever. But I agree to that point. But what's your counter narrative to that, Sunil? I mean, do you really completely align to this, or you have some different point of view? And I feel that let's look at from that particular audience who has asked this question. So he might be struggling with something. So if you can help address that.
Yeah, no, Hemant, that's very important, and it's a bit sad to hear this comment because unfortunately, what I see in the industry, it is true because I do get to meet both HR leaders as well as business leaders, and since I come from the business side, but obviously HR has been my passion for almost last 3 decades. The problem is what I mentioned in the beginning itself. So two, three things there. One is when we use this diversity and inclusion as a checkbox in my checklist to ensure that I've done it. and a lot of people are just measuring it for the sake of measurement. That is where then this issue happens, where you do it as a ritual on the 8th of March, and I agree by 31st March you forget it. And to ensure that it doesn't happen, it has to come right from the top, which I mentioned in the beginning. It has to be there in your everyday DNA, where we talk about psychological safety for our employees, but I personally believe for women employees that psychological safety has to be even more. Like you said, they should be asking more questions. I think Esha said that. Yeah, they will ask more questions when they know that their question would not be taken as negative or something which they cannot do. Rather than that, they should feel that if I ask this question, I'll get an answer, I'll get some solution. So I think providing that psychological safety is extremely important. Even more, having those women leaders at the top level to be mentors, to be role models, that's quite important. And just to repeat again, if we don't use it as a checklist, but we make it as part of our DNA, then yes, we won't forget it on 31st March. We'll continue for the whole year. But unfortunately, yes, Hemant, in the industry today, leaders need to do a lot more than the HR folks, because HR, yes, they will bring it as part of their process and policy, but leaders will help in bringing it as part of their DNA of the organization.
Perfectly answered. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your viewpoint. Charan, we are at the fag end of last 3 minutes. So quickly, in a minute, if you can help summarize this question, which is around as AI reshapes the hiring and workforce planning priorities, there are new platforms coming in. There's ethical way of hiring and stuff like that. How can organizations ensure that these systems expand opportunity for the women workforce rather than replicate the old historical biases and inequalities that may creep in because of the conditional modeling of the data?
See, the AI will give you the data. Simple. You should use AI. In my perspective, AI can be used only to give data. The decision has to be taken by humans. What goes in, what goes out. I think that's what the machine will do. It's good to see data. It's good to have information. It's good to see who's where and all those things. But then over relying on data is not good. Is what I genuinely feel. But sometimes the emotional quotient also comes into play. If you have all things done by machines, then why do we need to be there? You need not be there at all. But then, as a human resource, and as the word itself says, we as leaders, uh, we need to be very conscious of the fact that uh, there are human beings also opposite to you. Both men and women for that matter. How do we ensure that the data will help you to see that this is what it is, but then at the end of the day, you don't allow AI to take a call. It's
Yeah.
you that you should take a call. You should bring just not the artificial intelligence. You should also bring in and human intelligence. You should also bring in emotional intelligence onto play as well. So I think use the data for knowledge purposes, not for decision making purposes. At least in if you when it comes to handling people.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and Hemant, if I can just add to it, I think obviously AI is going to disrupt or is already disrupting a lot of things, and that we cannot prevent it. But I think, especially when it comes to people's side, whether it's recruitment or promotions or any of that, as we say, we will still need to have human in the loop. You cannot
Right.
remove that human in the loop, because for these things, it's even more important. So as long as you're doing that, and as Charan said rightly, data you measure, you keep it, but you keep the human in the loop, I possibly think that we'll be able to keep the things in check.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Isha, last one liner from you before I wrap up
Um,
and summarize. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. See, AI is good with predictions, right? But we have to hire for skills for the future. We cannot hire for experience. Unfortunately, our application tracking systems and all, they all sit and look at our experience, and then
Past
when
biases.
they find good candidates but who are diverse, they just keep them pushing out. So it's unless we know how to manage AI, we will be in trouble, because AI is thinking in a certain direction, which is repeating histories, not repeating potential,
Creating
right?
histories. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something that we have to keep an eye on. Where AI can help is, in our LMS systems, upskilling the people, making sure they're doing the right training, right upskilling. But from a recruitment standpoint, we have to be watchful. We can definitely use data intelligently. And thirdly, I think a lot of things where AI can help is Provide a structured job description, a structured question answers for the interviews. I've sat in an interview where somebody has discussed, do you like cricket? And the two gentlemen spoke about cricket in the whole interview, and after that the gentleman got hired because both of them love cricket, right? So it's very important to have a diverse panel, a balanced structured questions, and a balanced scoring card. Right? You're asking the same questions, scoring in the same way, and that's where I think AI can help bring that consistency in the evaluation, so the right people are going through the recruitment process.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks. So we are at the fag end of the session, and I would like to summarize. And thanks a lot for your valuable time and the insights that you provided as a cohort and the leadership team. I think AI is coming here and AI is going to stay. All of us are going to augment it to our core work and use that as an assistant. Two women leaders who have tuned into the call, and I call you all leaders because at some point of time I would like to see everyone grow and become great in your life. And that good should not arrest you that you don't become great. Don't get compromised that I've achieved this much and this is good enough. Now let me focus on my family, kids, and other stuff. All of this is about juggling the balls, and I think you all can juggle the ball and can manage this. Networking is net worth, so have tangible, meaningful network. It's not just about sharing network and LinkedIn connects and all, but have meaningful those 5 to 10 mentors in your life who can take you to the next crescent of the life. uh, I have twin daughters. I have my wife working. My mom had not chosen career path in teaching despite being MA and PhD because he had to take care of 4 kids, and dad was really working hard. But I see the workforce is changing. People are adapting, but still it's not the perfect world. And sorry to say, life is not fair. You like it or hate it, so you'll have to do your own battle, fight it out, make it happen. Just be positive. I mean, I know that at times in life, you become a bit down because of experiences you might have gone across, either as a male or female, doesn't matter. But then that should not hamper you from thinking positive and staying upbeat. Keep learning, keep investing in yourself. Like the way this topic says, give time, give access, give credit. To my male leaders who are there on the call, make someone's life better as women leaders. I think that's the
Absolutely.
thing we can do since we have reached to this part of our life. With that, thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for your quality time. Really loved interacting with you all and would love to stay connected.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good day.
Thank you.